What's up, guys? It's Mitch with SC Weather. Hope y'all have had a great weekend. There's some things to talk about. Before we get started, I asked y'all do subscribe. Just hit that button down there. It is an awesome way to support me and what I'm trying to do here, what I'm trying to accomplish. I'm trying to get to 600 subscribers by the end of this month. Got a few days left, and 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and a chance to get monetized. It's just another way and an opportunity for me to get a little bit back of the time that I spent, and which I love doing. I love expressing my passion with you guys, and it's just an opportunity to keep growing through different platforms, and it's a great hobby for me, and I love talking to you guys through Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, and I appreciate who watch and everything like that. So just subscribe if you haven't. It would be awesome and much appreciated. But enough on that. So the tropics has been a hot topic the last several days, as Hurricane Hanna just hit South Texas yesterday. It was strengthening before landfall, and it ended up being, a decently impactful event. Thankfully, no fatalities yet or anything like that. And, it was just a sign of how active it's going to be. It was already at H, and man, it's just crazy to think we already have a hurricane that's made landfall in the U.S. So quickly became our first named hurricane. Turned around and quickly became our first named hurricane to make landfall. So enough about that. Let's just get into what else is going on. We can now look past Hanna and look out to the other things that are going on. So I'm going to try to pronounce this name. I actually had to write it down and broken down. So Isaias, I think is how you say it, Isaias. And so this is like, and that's the I name, Isaias. So this is likely to be our next named storm. It is currently called Invest 92L. That's what they name it, things like that, before they name it a depression or anything like that. So currently, check it out, it's circled right there. If you can tell the swirl, I don't have anything in motion here, but the swirl, if you will, of just a broad level of circulation, and just an area out there, just kind of chilling way out in the eastern Atlantic. Just a giant wave just came out of Africa. It's way off the coast of Africa now, but it's marching towards the tropical Atlantic into our area. So check it out. National Hurricane Center has already said, hey, this thing has a 90% chance to develop into a tropical depression within the next 5 days, 70% chance to develop within the next 2 days. So, and that is to a depression, not a named storm. A named storm is when you get into a tropical storm. So let's break it down. A tropical wave, then you got a tropical depression, tropical storm, which is then when it can be named a hurricane, Cat 1, Category 2, 3, 4, and 5. And after that, there's not really anything else after that. So here it is. So I'm going to talk about the GFS first, because the GFS and the European are the most talked about models out there, especially for tropical activity. So let's just jump right into that. So check it out. This is the GFS run. I'm sorry, I cannot speak, I guess. And this is 12Z. This is the latest GFS run. I have circled what will eventually be Isaias. I'm going to screw that name up multiple times in this video, I'm sure. So sorry about that. And if I'm not saying it right now, feel free to leave a comment and tell me how to pronounce it, because I've never been the best at pronouncing things anyway. So let's keep rolling here. And this is where it's about at right now, circled. A very weak storm, not even considered a depression yet. We get into tomorrow, and there's a little bit movement. Just keep your eye on the last frame where it was circled, that same storm where it's got a 1008 right now pressure. So that's where we're at right now. We get to Tuesday, it's starting to move, but it's starting to tick a little bit more north. The Lesser Antilles is that little strand of island moving from north to south, south to north, and it looks like it might try to avoid that. It's getting a little stronger, but it's still a weak storm. It's just taking its time developing. This is Wednesday. We get into Thursday, and it's starting to strengthen a little bit. It's probably starting to speed up a little bit also. And you know, at this point, it might be closing in on tropical storm status. But we start to get into Saturday, and this is probably a hurricane at this point. Maybe category 1, borderline 2. Not sure. It's hard it's hard to look at pressure and always tell because it could fluctuate some. So so check it out. It's kind of close to the Bahamas. Might be a scare for the Bahamas. Off what the GFS was saying, we get to a week from today. We get a little bit closer in because we can, and it weakens. The storm actually weakens, and but check it out. A week from today, it's not too far off the coast of our state. Getting to the next frame, Monday. This is about 8 days out. Not this Monday, about 8 days out. You still got the system, but as you can tell, it kind of starts to curve, and you get to Tuesday, and it's on out of here. So GFS, it took a while for it to show the storm. Euro was on board first. Euro had it plowing into us, and the GFS had it plowing right into the southeast a couple days ago. But now it has that out to sea look to it. But let's check out the ingredients of why, the steering currents of why, and just why. So check it out. This is the heights. So check out that H is high pressure, centered northeast of this storm. Where I got that circle, that's where the storm is. So it's riding south of this ridge, if you will, or high pressure. It can't go into it. It just can't. The storms cannot go into high pressures. They just can't move into that kind of atmosphere. So the arrow is where it's heading. I don't have it in motion here. The southwest, it's moving southwest of this high pressure where there's a weakness. And this is the next frame, and this is next Saturday. So that little area I have circled is the system. So it looks like the high pressure skirts a little southwest, and it allows a storm to kind of sneak, but there's a trough. And what a trough is, guys, is basically almost like a cold front. This is going to be a strong trough. It's shown in the European model too, which I will show. And it's basically just a colliding air mass, and you know, you got this high pressure right here. You got this trough, which acts as a front. Once again, hurricanes or any kind of tropical systems can't plow right through a front. A front acts as a pushing mechanism, and it's going to push it a certain direction. I don't know if you know about Hurricane Michael, for example. Hurricane Michael plowed into the Florida Panhandle, but there was a front, and it was actually a pattern-changing front that ended up coming, and as it would hit the Florida Panhandle, that front, I mean, that was a strong, strong cold front too. Just knocked it on out of there, and it was out. It didn't meander, and luckily that hurricane got in and out of our area. Now the Panhandle was not spared, but quickly. So you got this trough, and then you got what would be, geez, I gotta look at this thing. Isaias, which would kind of sneak between the area of high pressure and this trough, and this trough's eventually it's gonna eventually just kind of make it go out to sea. It's going to kind of make it go right above the high pressure, and then it's just going to fall apart because it just gets in cooler water, and there's no favorable ingredients there for it to keep it going. It's already weakening anyways. It's already a very weak system according to GFS. So let's talk about the European model next and what it is showing, because it's totally different this afternoon. Before we get into the European model, I meant to say this too. Let's check out some spaghetti models from the Tropical Tidbits, and all this video is from Tropical Tidbits and weathermodels.com. I'm using their stuff. So Tropical Tidbits is available for free. You can check it out all for free, so it's easy accessible. But anyway, spaghetti models, a lot of them are showing that out to sea scenario that we just talked about, and it's just kind of riding, heading on out. But there's a lot of stronger storms. The main operational run had a very much weaker storm. Here is some intensity guidance, and just some various models showing, you know, almost all of them, at least a lot of them strengthening to a category 1 storm. So closer up, different view from weather models here, showing the spaghetti models and just that classic recurve. So now let's go into the European model. Okay, so the European model shows something totally different. It basically shows a weaker storm, it shows a slower storm, and it shows it getting caught up in the Caribbean islands a little bit, and sort of possibly just eventually falling apart, but that's way far out, especially with it being slow. It makes it even deeper into the model runs. So let's start off right here. This is this Tuesday, and I have it circled. I'm using this because it shows it a little bit better than all the other, and just the 850 wind speeds here. So I have the area circled of what would maybe be a named storm at this point, but we're just not sure. And it just shows it next. This shows it going to the Lesser Antilles. It's a little stronger at this point, but still not that strong. And just keep your eye on that shaded orange area right there entering the Caribbean islands. That is what our system will be at, where it will be at. And it gets caught all up in to basically an area where hurricanes do not like. It gets all wrapped up in the Caribbean islands. You got some high mountain peaks when you start to get into some of these, and this is getting into Thursday, this is getting to Friday, and it's basically just riding those Caribbean islands like Dominican Republic and Cuba. Especially if hurricanes, Cuba is like a hurricane shredder because they have some high mountain peaks, and it gets kind of caught up in there, and it just becomes basically some energy, and who knows what it's going to do at this point. This is next Sunday, but at the end of the day, check it out. This thing is in Caribbean, starting to enter the Gulf of Mexico Sunday. Sunday on the GFS, this thing's already starting to kind of turn and head out to sea. Two huge models, two huge differences. Now check it out. I have the arrow up there. That's and just that's just some energy right there. That's like trough. That's going to cause probably definitely some kind of weather maker over the Ohio Valley and stuff, because that is a vigorous looking trough right there and some energy right there. But it is going to play a factor on Isaias or something. It's going to play a big factor, even if it even becomes a named storm on the European model. But so gets caught up kind of. So check it out. I did kind of same thing with the GFS here. High pressure, it kind of keeps Isaias. If it becomes down on the European, it kind of keeps it just south. Little bit different look. It doesn't really, maybe because it's too weak, but it can't be pulled north here because it's just a weak storm, and it doesn't have much to it, but it shows it just kind of cruising into and there's that trough right there coming. So does it get into the Gulf? Does it re-strengthen? We know what things can do in the Gulf of Mexico. They can go 0 to 100 super quick. But outside of that, guys, that's about it. And I say that like it's not a big deal, but we're entering the end of July, last week of July, about to enter August, but it is active. And I'm telling you, one thing, if y'all made it to the end of the video and y'all are hearing me listen to this. One big thing is we're still in July. The ridge is very, very hard to knock down this time of year. It winds a lot of the time, and we know this in South Carolina because it is hot as Hades. And when it's really, really hot, it's normally when we got the death ridge or just an area of stagnant air over us. And that is a big factor on where hurricanes go this time of year and even into the fall. And it acts as like a blocking mechanism and just a steering flow or current. So if you got huge area high pressure sitting right over the southeast, they're definitely going to go out to sea because it's sitting over us, and you got a cane coming up, and it ain't gonna have nothing to do with that. It's heading out to sea. So you have to have a weakness somewhere. And if you have a cold front coming, it don't want nothing to do with that. The cold front just gonna push it back out. So you have to have some kind of weakness somewhere for it to slide. That's why Hugo, people talk about Hugo. It was I don't know the exact pattern in place, but man, there was a perfect opportunity window for that thing just to cruise right into the state of South Carolina. And they just don't do that anymore. Or you just have to have some right conditions for that to happen. So I appreciate y'all watching. That's about it. Just keep in mind that the ridge, it may be stronger over the Atlantic than maybe what some of the models showing, meaning it might be more southwest. If it's more southwest, basically if you got a cane coming up and it's pressing against it, the more it's going to have to be pushed west. You got the United States here, it's going to be pushed. Now if it's more out here, then it has more room to go out to sea, out to sea, especially with some kind of weather system moving in like a trough or a front or something like that. So keep that in mind. Man, I really appreciate y'all watching. I hope this helped y'all, and definitely subscribe and definitely keep weather in the back of your head, because we're entering a very threatening period as far as hurricane season, and I know for a fact we're going to get infected somehow. Sorry about the backdrop. If you are some new viewers, I'm trying to grow and I'm trying to make this look a little bit more professional, but this is all I got right now. So thank y'all for watching. I appreciate all y'all. Have a blessed rest of your Sunday.